This isn't just about love, it's about a name heaven whispered before you ever heard theirs. You didn't imagine the bond, you didn't exaggerate the pull, and no, you're not the only one who's tried to walk away, only to feel something stronger pulling you back. Not to fantasy, to assignment. There's someone your spirit won't forget, not because of unfinished romance, but because of unfinished revelation. They appeared like a question, but they were the beginning of an unsealing. Were they sent to love you, or to awaken you? To walk beside you, or to activate the warrior within you? You've buried the feelings. You've starved the memories. You've prayed them out of your dreams and erased them from your journals. But still, in the silence of night, in the middle of prayer, in moments you least expect, their name echoes, like thunder under still water, like a scroll that refuses to stay shut. Chosen one. This isn't obsession. It's not emotion. It's alignment. What God has joined together, let no man separate. Mark 10, Qayin. But what if what God joined isn't joined yet in the natural? What if the delay was part of the design? What if the one your soul can't release is the one God is still preparing, for a mission that can only activate when both scrolls are ready to collide? This is Echoes of the Chosen, where spiritual memory is reawakened, assignments are decoded, and those who feel too much, too deeply, too prophetically, finally understand why. Stay until the end. Because what's hidden in these 5 signs may explain why you couldn't move on, why the connection wouldn't break, why your heart kept bleeding for something that never fully began. Because God never let it end. There's a reason they still echo. There's a reason this video found you, and by the end of this message, you'll know. It was never just about the one. It was about the mission written into your bones. The scroll is being opened now. Let's begin. Prophetic pull. When the soul recognizes its assignment. Some connections are not born in conversation. They are born in covenant. Long before your eyes met, your spirits remembered. Long before your hearts ached, your destinies were entangled. The ache is not for a person. It is for what your spirit remembers but your flesh forgot. When God chooses someone for you, it does not begin with attraction. It begins with assignment. Your soul feels the pull not because of nostalgia, but because of spiritual memory. You are not obsessed. You are being summoned. Every glance, every silence, every chance encounter, it was never random. It was written. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, and before you were born, I consecrated you. Jeremiah 1-5. This isn't about meeting someone. This is about recognizing someone heaven already paired to your mission. It's why their voice echoes louder than others. It's why their absence speaks louder than presence. It's why, no matter how hard you try to sever the tie, it returns. Not as emotion, but as echo. You didn't meet them. You remembered them. Heaven let your paths cross because your scrolls intertwine. And now, every unanswered question becomes the doorway to something deeper. The soul knows before the mind understands. The bond was never emotional. It was ancestral. Separation isn't rejection, it's refinement. When God calls 2 lives into alignment, He often begins by tearing them apart. Not out of cruelty, but to sanctify what will one day carry glory. Separation is not proof that it failed. It's proof that it matters. Moses was separated from his people before he could lead them. Joseph was thrown into prison before he could preserve nations. Even Jesus withdrew before he revealed. Heaven hides what it intends to reveal with power. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. Ecclesiastes 3:1-5. You wanted to hold on. God needed to break you open. You wanted answers. God allowed silence. You wanted presence. God gave you absence, not as punishment, but as preservation. The distance wasn't disconnect. It was divine discipline. The silence wasn't absence. It was surveillance. Heaven watches what you do when nothing is working, when you're misunderstood, when they're gone. And it is in those quiet deserts that God trains the remnant. So if the one you felt tied to disappeared, ask yourself, was it rejection? Or was it rehearsal? When their presence becomes your prophetic mirror. Some people don't enter your life to comfort you. They enter to confront what you've hidden from yourself. You feel exposed around them, not because they judge you, but because they see you. They don't even have to speak. Their spirit carries a frequency that stirs dormant gifts, revives dead prayers, and reopens doors you thought were shut forever. It's not about conversation. It's about activation. When Mary greeted Elizabeth, the baby in her womb leapt. That's what happens when destiny meets destiny. Something leaps. Something wakes up. As soon as the sound of your greeting reached my ears, the baby in my womb leaped for joy. Luke 1:44. They didn't complete you, they called you higher. They disrupted your comfort, not to hurt you, but to show you who you were always meant to be. You didn't fall for them. You rose near them, because their presence was a prophecy in human form. And now, when you remember them, it's not about wanting them. It's about remembering the version of yourself that emerged beside them. Time couldn't kill it. Silence couldn't starve it. Distance couldn't drown it. Years pass. Prayers change. New people enter. But the pull remains. Not as desperation, but as a quiet flame that refuses to die. You thought it would fade, but it deepened. You thought time would erase it, but it revealed it. What's spiritual cannot be destroyed by what is natural. Heaven doesn't write in pencil, it carves in fire. Set me as a seal upon your heart, for love is strong as death, jealousy as fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, the very flame of the Lord. Song of Songs 8:6. God allowed silence not to punish you, but to test whether your heart could hear through stillness. He allowed the distance not to break the bond, but to prove it was rooted beyond circumstance. What was buried wasn't dead. It was planted, and now it's rising. This isn't about picking up where you left off. It's about stepping into what was never finished. This isn't just a bond. It's a blueprint. You keep wondering why no other connection feels the same. It's not because you're too picky. It's because your spirit knows when alignment is absent. This person wasn't sent to satisfy your loneliness. They were sent to synchronize your legacy. Esther didn't just meet the king. She stepped into a throne prepared for her mission. Ruth didn't just fall in love. She aligned with the lineage of David. These weren't romances. These were reformations. For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus, so we can do the good things He planned for us long ago. Ephesians 2:10. Your pain was prophetic. Your waiting was warfare. Your longing was not for a person, but for your next spiritual dimension. This isn't a love story. It's a launch sequence. Heaven didn't join your hearts for a chapter. It joined your assignments for a generation. When you tried to walk alone, the mission. Slows, you told yourself, I don't need them. You said, God can still use me. Yes, He can. But what if He intended to use both? Gideon didn't win alone. Paul needed Silas. Jesus sent them out 2 by 2. God never designed the remnant to walk in isolation. He designed partnerships not for emotional support, but for spiritual synergy. The mission is still yours, but the pace, the weight, the breakthrough, it shifts when you're yoked correctly. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls, one can help the other up. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Your mantle is heavy because it was meant to be shared. What if the slowness in your life isn't about disobedience, but about disconnection from someone you were never meant to release? And still, God waits patiently. letting the delay become the preparation. Remnant recognition. This isn't just about you. You are not the only one sensing it. You are not the only one dreaming of someone who once ignited you. Across nations, there are others feeling the same fire. They are scattered, but awakening. God is reactivating prophetic unions, not for comfort, not for status, but for war, for revival, for the reclaiming of spiritual territory. Then I heard the number of those who were sealed, 144,000 from all the tribes. Revelation 7:4. There is a remnant rising, people with scars, silence, and scrolls, being summoned into convergence, and your story is not isolated. It is echoed. You are not longing. You are remembering. You are not alone. You are part of a remnant in motion. And the ache you feel isn't weakness. It's a global vibration, a signal that the time for reconnection is near. Echo activation. You carry a message, not just a memory. The bond wasn't just to show you love, it was to teach you assignment. It was never about a relationship. It was about a revelation. Now, your scroll is open. Now, the silence has spoken. Now, what you carry is not a secret. It's a summons. You are not called to grieve what was. You are called to release what it awakened in you. You are not carrying heartbreak. You are carrying a heavenly sound, and it's time to echo it. Let every moment, every tear, every dream become prophecy. Because now, the bond becomes a blueprint, and the echo becomes a voice. And what began in mystery is being fulfilled in fire. You weren't crazy for holding on. You weren't weak for remembering. You were spiritually sensitive to a design the world could never explain. Because what you thought was heartbreak was actually a holy haunting. The sound of your spirit echoing back to the one whose scroll was written beside yours. This wasn't just a person. It was a mirror, a message, a movement waiting for God's appointed hour. And now, chosen one. That hour is here. You're not just healing, you're being recalled. The ache was never the ending, it was the awakening. Heaven didn't let it fade because it wasn't done. Heaven delayed it because you weren't ready. But now, the fire has refined you, the silence has trained you, and the mystery has matured you. You are not longing, you are loaded. You are not broken, you are branded. You are not waiting, you are being released. You have been marked, you have been forged, and now you are being sent. If this word found your soul like a long-lost frequency, if it confirmed what you've wrestled with in silence, comment 777 right now. As a prophetic act that your spirit has recognized the scroll, share what stirred you. Speak what was activated. Because when one chosen one rises, it gives permission for the others to remember who they are. And if you know this wasn't just a video, but a divine echo calling you home, stay connected to echoes of the chosen. This remnant is rising, the scrolls are opening, and your voice is part of it. You are not alone. You are the next echo.